Hi everyone. How are you all doing? Sorry, I'm 2 minutes late. Unfortunately, the internet here is a little bit slow. So just thought I'd check in with everybody. Hi Melina. I'm in the big bad land of the US of A. So I just thought I'd check in, say hello to me, see how you're doing, see what's going on in the beautiful North America. Hi Charlene, hi Ken. Hello to me, very good. See Lucy's there, Charlene's there, very good. How you doing? Great to hear you. Great to hear you too, Lucy, which is good. So I'm going to check in with everybody, just see how everyone's doing, see what's going on with business, see how we're doing with, our preparations towards our summit, and see where everybody's at this week. Yes, I did get your pitch, Milena, which is cool, and your lead magnets. So, did you not receive my email that I sent back? I thought, I'm pretty sure I sent you an email back. Maybe it got lost in translation. So, no, you haven't. Okay, cool. I'll resend that email for you. So, yeah, how's everybody else doing? Yeah, so Charlene says, I've met with a sponsor today. Ooh, very good, Charlene. I like that. All right, very good, and they're interested. I even like that. More. Lucy, how you doing? What's happening with you guys? Yeah, busy with my project. That's for Lucy. Very good. And Ken, I know we spoke earlier, but just thought I'd check in just to see how your week's doing and how business is doing for you guys. Okay, so guys, I wanted to cover a few different topics today. So I'm hoping everybody's got their pen out and they're ready to rock and roll, because we're going to be covering two sort of different modules. We're going to be talking about a delivery style, because we've already got the pitch really clear. We've got our lead magnets together. We've got an understanding of, what we need to do to build it. We've got an understanding of, how do I go out and talk to sponsors? How do I go out and talk to people that want to be a part of it? How do I get my speaker list together? So today I want to talk about, a delivery method, a delivery style, and then also we're going to be talking about a method as well. Now, in saying that, what I also want to do, because I understand this is one of our final sessions, I believe, what I want to be able to do is to make sure that I'm answering any questions that we may have, for us to move forward with, anything that you may need, right? Anything that we may want to sort of continue from there. And also what I want to do is then have the ability to help you continue with your training with me, yeah? So, and that may be something, that I'd like to take offline and then be able to speak to each and every one of you and say, okay, here's a way that we can continue our training together, only if you're interested, obviously, to make sure that everyone's, super committed about what they're doing, and, you've got the foundations in place, and now it's time to take it to that next level. So I just want to check in with everybody before we get going here is, if there's one topic that I can help you with today, or one component that we can all share with the group, because remember, it's not just for you, it's for the group. What is it that I can help you with? What is it that I can serve you with? What's, one, even whether it's on this or it isn't, it could be marketing, general online marketing, whatever you may need, what could I help you with today? So I'm just going to get everybody to paste that in. I'm just going to grab a quick sip of water and we can get cracking.
How many people?
That's all. No, there's more, but okay. So, guys, let's post it in so we can have a look at it, right? Make sure everybody's still there. So, one thing that we could work on with the project. So, I'm pretty much figuring everybody's hearing me loud and clear too, right? So, in case we've dropped out or something weird like that, because it is internet. So, You never know your luck with internet. Okay, yeah, cool. So getting it off the ground. So yeah, I need a bit more specifics there, Milena. Yeah, that's a bit of a big topic, but it's a start. So getting it off the ground. Ken, Lucy, all right, Charlene, is there one thing that we can cover? So making sure we've got everybody in the group all in tune together, and more about the numbers, maybe. Very good. Charlene thinking, very good. Awesome. Lucy. Yeah, so Lucy, I know you said yes, but is there any one thing that I can help you with on this topic, or something around this topic? Yeah, that you'd like to get out of today? And let me check in, by the way, while we're just waiting for a few more to post. Yeah, cool. So Charlene, we're in the process of so Charlene asked, I'd like to see your 2014 site model. Is it up yet? We're in the process of finalising that. You'll definitely get to see that 100%. So I'm just getting that processed. How long do you reckon that's before that's done, Charlie? Probably a week or two, Charlene, and you'll have that. We're just doing the final copy for it now. And the design's pretty much ready, so it's just some copying stuff. Milena says marketing, getting the speakers, very good. Lucy says I'll think about it. Also, with Charlene, she's hoping to get drip copy ASAP with the Infusion campaign screenshots. Yep, we can do that. Let me just get all these down. Infusion copy, and that's Charlene. Very good. With the drip. Yep. Techniques for storytelling. That's Lucy. Yeah. Ken is the numbers. And Milena is marketing, getting the speakers. Cool. Okay, guys, so here's what we got. Here's the 4 topics, right? So let's start there. So I want to get these out of the way, right? To be better. So let's start with Milena. I mean, look, getting the speakers, right? There's different ways that we could get this happening, yeah? Charlene, yes, we'll have that as well. So Charlene is asking about the interview script template. Yeah. So guys, getting the speakers isn't really that challenging. Yeah. So the most important part, the first thing that I'd say is we need to make sure that we're really clear about what the outcome is for the speaker. Yeah. So I'm going to get you to write this down. So whenever that you're talking with a speaker, whether it's a live event or a non-live event, you need to be able to be really super focused and super clear about what you want from that speaker and what you're about to set up. Yeah. So we've got a template that I'm able to give you that basically has, things like, what do we want from the speaker? What do they need to bring? Right. So it's a breakdown of what we're hoping for. So things like, it'll be a 50% commission. You'll need to email out to, twice to your list, all these type of things. Yeah. So it's important to get really clear. Now, techniques to get a speaker, or the marketing to get the speaker, is, first of all, I always like to go, who's closest to me? And here's what I mean by who's closest to me. I like to reach out and say, who do I know that possibly knows that particular speaker, right? Who do I know that could possibly introduce me to that speaker? And you'll be surprised. When you ask the question like that, you'll be super, super, super surprised about, how many people actually know him. Now, that may mean that they know that what church they go to. That mean that they may know, where they shop. That mean that they may have their email. It means that they can introduce you. It means that they know somebody that knows somebody. So there's a lot of different options that you can go with depending on, who you need to reach out to. So my first thing that I'd suggest, and this is good for everyone here, right? My first recommendation is I write a list, and on that list on the left-hand side, I write the speaker's name. And then in the next column, what I do is I try to say, who is it that I may know? Now, if you focus enough and you put that intention out there as well, more than likely, if it doesn't come to you straight away, you'll be driving to work or having a shower or something, and boom, it pops in your head and you go, oh, yeah, that's right, I remember that person knows X. Now, if also there's a list of speakers that you have for your event, there's an opportunity there that I may be able to reach out to somebody to introduce you to that speaker. Now, if they're specific style speakers, maybe not. Like if there's somebody, that's in the wellness space or whatever it may be that I don't know of, or they're specific to a particular niche or in real estate or whatever it may be, it's one of those things that sometimes I can, sometimes I can't, right? Now, the next thing is I'd look up that speaker online, okay? So, whether I type in their details in Google, whether I look at them on LinkedIn, whether I search for them on Facebook, right? Whether I find them on Twitter, it doesn't matter, because ultimately what you're trying to do is go, how do I get in there? Now, if you've got somebody on Facebook that's friends with that speaker, you can always reach out to them in a message and say, hey, I'm friends with so-and-so. I'm wondering if there's 10 minutes of your time that I could speak to you about an event that I have. Or, I was talking to somebody that knows you, and then you go in that way, yeah? So I want you to think about it, that if you make a list that way, now you've got, who they are on Google, who they are on LinkedIn, and a lot of times on LinkedIn there's an email address that you can speak to them about. Or, if not, look up the company, and there's a contact, and right, you can contact the company. Somebody's got to answer the phone, and then you just ask. Now, or, third component is there's possibly an association that knows them or has those details. So what you're able to do is speak to the association and tell them what you're doing. Say, look, I'm after an introduction to so-and-so as a speaker. Do you have that contact? So I just want to check in to make sure that, Milena, this is what you're looking for. And I just want to check in with everybody else to make sure that this is valuable information for you guys as well. Yeah? So type that in. Let me have a look. Okay, awesome. Now, guys, so question 2 was the numbers. So, Ken, let me give you the ideas of numbers. On average, there's a few different numbers that we need to look at. Now, I think the most important part is to say, first of all, what's going to be my outlay? What budget do I have? Now, somebody, as an example, right, like Charlene, she's already speaking to a sponsor. Now, does that make good sense? Obviously, it makes great sense. Why? Because they help share the load. Am I right? Now, you could have a sponsor package that's 10,000, 5,000, 2,000, 20,000. It all depends on how good your what is, your pitch. Am I right? We spoke about this, at one of our sessions. So if your pitch is good and people see value in it, then all it is just a currency exchange, is it not? I see value in this. I'm happy to, spend X amount, and then you're good to go. So it makes sense that you're setting yourself up with that. Now, whether it's a sponsor or whether it's a marketing platform that you can also reach out to people and say, look, here's what we're building. I could have your name down at the bottom of this, right? We'd like to have you as a partner with us. Here's, you can go from that way. What it does is it reduces the numbers at the end of the day. Now, I look at it like this. So the number is depending on how much money that you're going to spend on the front end. On average, right, what you'll do is your opt-in rates and the ticket prices that you sell will, not only pay for any of the marketing that you do, but pretty much pay for the event. And on average, you're going to do 5 to 6 figures. On average, right? So it's one of those things that it depends on how much energy and effort you put into it, the right niche, and the right speakers. Right now, I want you to think about it like this, guys. If you broke even after doing it, but you've got a list of 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15,000 people that's completely targeted, and you use that for your business and you use that cleverly. In other words, you're speaking to the speaker that's presented after the presentation and say, look, we'd love to get you back as a guest. Here's where you're going to sell. You're going to be able to pitch. And then, we can share in the revenue. Then you're good to go, right? So I want you to think about it that if you break even on the front end being, right, all the opt-ins that you get, and then make money off the back end, in other words, the next 12 months after this, the event, then this makes for a good summer. Because there isn't many ways that you can build a big list reasonably quickly and reasonably cost effectively. Yeah. Now, if you didn't want to do any marketing and the speakers were gracious enough to email out for you, and everybody else that you know emailed out for you, well, that's even better because then it's going to cost you even less. So on average, the figures are, if I break even and I build a list, I'm happy. Even if it costs me, as an example, $10 a client, I'm happy. Because I understand that there's a lot more per head than that, right? So think about it. If you have 1,000 people, I'm just using figures, opt in, and 20% of those people bought a ticket, right? 200 people. And then out of those people, right, they bought a ticket. But out of those, then they bought coaching with you, or they've bought whatever product that you're selling, or whatever it may be, right? Do you see now, look how much you're making. So 1,000 people bought a ticket, let's say, or whatever, right? So if your client acquisition cost is low, you don't make the money on the front end, but then you make it on the back end, I think that's a really good way to go. Yeah. Now, in most cases, if you're clever with it, you'll make money on both ends, right? So it's one of those things. Now, let me ask you the question. What's more value? Is it making money on the front end or building a really good database? I'm going to get you to post that in. What is it for you? Yeah? Is it making money on the front end or is it building a really good database? Charlene, both. The winner is what? Charlene. Why? Right? Because she says both. You can make money on the front end and then the back end. Now, I'm in total agreement with everybody else. But Ken's saying it's the database, right? Because then you can, sell them for years. I'm with you 100%, Ken. But my, suggestion that I like is what? Charlene's one. So how do you make money on the front end? And then how do you make money on the back end? It's win-win all the way around. So I want you to think about it that, do you see? It's all good either which way. Because even if it costs you money, you're not losing money. You're actually gaining a completely targeted list and the celebrity of becoming a leading person of influence using the interview series. So now you're amongst your peers. Right, guys? So the biggest part of outcome for this isn't the money. And it's not even having the database. It's really about now you're elevated to another level. And when you can say that you've been on stage with all these people, right, certain doors start to open. Why? Because now what goes up for you? Right, I'm going to get you to post that in. Now that you've done, a series with 20 other top leaders, what goes up for you? Ken says credibility. What else? Trust, speaking engagements. For yourself, exactly, Charlene. Very good. Trust, influence. Exactly, guys. Now, what's that worth to you? It's unlimited, because one speaking gig that you could get, Charlene, could mean, an opportunity with a client that makes you $500,000. Ken, what does it mean if you're credible to be, the marketer for real estate agents? How much is that worth to you? You see what I mean? Lucy, it's the same thing. If you have to build trust with your people, with your tribe, positioning yourself as the expert, I mean, what's that worth to you? There's so many different ways. So, guys, I want you to understand what the tool is about. Now, having the database, making the money, all of these things are the bonuses that come with this model. Yeah? So I want you to think about it, that if you go into it going, oh, I'm going to make all this money, and you don't, for whatever way, shape, or form, or if you go, oh, I'm going to, build 20,000 people, but you build 5,000 people, right? You're not disappointed. If you're on stage with them people, which you are, all the thought leaders in your industry, what does that mean? You could put that anywhere on your banner. It's a draw card. It opens the doors for a ton of different things. Yeah? You see that? Exactly. Ken writes, can we use the publicity we've gained from the event to look like an expert to other people, other than those attending the event? Absolutely. Yesterday, by the way, I don't know if you guys saw me on Facebook, which I think you may have, I'm hanging out with Michael Gerber. How cool is that, right? My idol, one of my idols, back in the day. Now I'm taking photos with him, hanging out, like it's cool, right? This is Michael Gerber, do you see? So you're able to do that completely. So Ken asks, can you talk about that? How you may be able to use that? Absolutely. So as an example, so from the, here's a perfect example to this, Ken. That's a great question, Mike. Guys, when you do something like this, right, and you gain success by, and it's called famous by association, right? And you do that, then it opens the doors. And here's an example. So, I'm at a mastermind with, some incredible people. This was last year after the summit. And I said, look, we've ran the biggest online global event ever. Here's the opt-ins. This is how much we made, blah, blah, blah. Automatically, there must have been like 10 guys that come up to me and they said, hey, and these guys are internet marketers already. They're big guys already. So they're doing, 7 figures, 8, 9 figures. And they're all, hey, dude, how did you do that? We'd like to know more. That was amazing. Like, this is unheard of. That was like, how much did it cost you? Show them budgets, and they're like, man. And here I am, less than a year later, hanging out with Michael Gerber, talking on a big stage tomorrow. I spoke in Canada, met you guys, ran my business, teaching this now. We're building the new platforms for 2014. I hang out with some amazing people. So do you see, Ken? So just by being able to position yourself like that as the expert, and that you run summits, also, by the way, in your case, Charlene, this is a great example, also opens the doors then to other people that want to do business with you. Because then they know you've got that platform. They go, hey, like she's already got this. Hey, can you connect me with X, Y, Z? Or, can I deliver some content to your people post summit? It doesn't have to be. The summit is just the first part of it. What I'm showing you guys is actually a business model that can take you to like massively from their coaching clients, from their networking events, from their like, look at the things. Do you see they're limitless? Yeah. So you guys cool with that? I just want to check in with everybody there. Now, the next thing that that you guys wanted to hear was Lucy said it's techniques for storytelling. So, if I'm understanding you correctly, Lucy, what you're after is to understand more of an interview. Yeah, I just want to make sure that I understand it. It's techniques on how to interview. Is that what you need? Okay, cool. So Lucy asked, yeah, how to grab the attention from audiences. Terrific. So I like things to be interactive. And here's the perfect example, right? We've been together for the last 5 or 6 weeks, right? You can imagine if I was boring or I wasn't ready for stuff or, nothing was there and I didn't ask any of the questions and we didn't have any interactivity or I pre-recorded this stuff and, we just had it was doing nothing, so it was all pre-recorded, and I just blasted through it and didn't ask any questions for you guys. I mean, that'll be boring, right? Absolutely, because it feels like it's all one-way traffic, if you want to think of it that way. Actually, what we're going to be talking about as well is the different methods and different styles of certain things, yep? So I'm going to be, talking to you about that here, right? Now, I want you to think about it that it's interesting. The more dynamic that you are, and the more you ask questions, the better your results are going to be. So let me write that. I'm going to get you to write that down. Let me say that again. The more dynamic you are, and the more questions you ask, the more interesting the interview series will be. Now, when you're asking questions, you're in control of that conversation. Yeah? Now, and it's really important to find out what is super passionate for that speaker. And I'll tell you why. Because if in the beginning you introduce a speaker through a bio, and then you move in to say, hey, thank you for being here with us. We're really excited to, speak to you about this. And we know your presentation is going to be amazing. But before I get you to start, what I'm going to do is just, speak to the audience at home and just find out a little bit about, what lights you up, what you love doing. What's something that you'd be able to do for free and you'd still love doing it anyway. Yeah? And the reason I want to ask that is because if I can get the best out of the speaker to start with, what it does is it creates, more excitement out of the audiences. Number one. Number two is you want to speak to the speaker for them in order to make sure that it's Q&A based. And here's an example. So, Ken, we've got somebody on the line that likes to ask you this question, right? Can you tell me how you'd react to this or what you'd do to this? And they go on with that, yeah? Now, I want you to think about it right? I need you to write this down. Those questions don't necessarily have to be real. Let me say that again. Those questions don't necessarily have to be real. Right? Why? Because what you're looking for is a reaction that you need to elicit from an audience member, yeah, or from the speaker. Now, you can imagine if somebody said something to you and all they did was shout it out at you, or you were rude to them, or you cut them off at the pass, or all you did in the presentation was, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. You're like, take it easy. I want to know a little bit about you. So from a technique perspective, what I believe, and this is only me, and it's just through experience, I know that a good interviewer has got the right questions to start with, and number two, it should be really, really cool for us to discuss this, considering it's so bloody gold. Yeah? So do you see, doing that, you need to make sure that you ask speakers the right questions. Yeah? Lucy asked, ask speaker questions or ask audience questions. You ask both because They're doing the presentation for you. Lucy, I want you to think about it like this. As soon as you hand over the reins to the speaker, they'll do what they need to do. A good speaker will engage with the audience, right? But it's important then for you to ask questions as well, especially if you're doing it in an interview style format. Yeah? We're going to talk about that just in a second. So does everybody get that? I just want to check in with everyone to make sure you understand it. So the questions you ask, right? The pre-designed questions. And then, you want to be able to say, look, we've got a caller on the line and here's what she asked. Whether she's there or she isn't, it's always a good way to elicit more energy from the speaker, because most of the times in your niche, what they're doing is they're all asking the same style questions anyway. Yeah, if you're a practice owner, you're going, how do I get more people? How do I market better? How can I have work-life balance? How can I start to sell my brand? Do you see? So if you say, hey, there's somebody in the line that wants to know, how do I sell my brand more effectively? Well, that's going to be good information for everyone. Yeah, does everybody see that? Just want to check in with everyone. Okay, awesome. So, guys, is there any other questions? I'm going to take one more question, so then, I need to move on from here. Is there any other questions that I can help you with? No problem, Lucy. You're welcome. Okay. So we good? Okay. Now, so what I want to talk about today was delivery method. Yeah? So here's the first thing. Why is this important? Well, it's important because this is your lifeline. However you deliver makes a difference for people saying yes to a ticket, no to a ticket, yes to attendance, no to attendance, right? So it's really important to say that, this is your lifeline because of how people engage with it. Now, the other component is it's a credibility builder. It's a leverage tool, one to many. There's marketing options. What it does is it creates stability for you, the speakers, and the users. It's a platform to build on, and the stats are there for an ongoing campaign. So this is why it's important to have it in some type of format, some type of something, so you've got the ability to make sure that you're testing and measuring. Remember, guys, if you don't test and measure, you're kidding yourself. Yeah, because how do you know, A, if you're making any money, or B, how whatever you're doing is working? There's no use having 20 speakers on board and then, no one shows up. You see what I mean there? Yeah. So it's important to have that. Now, here are 5 critical components. It's really important, yeah, in your delivery method to have scalability. And by scalability, I mean, how do I get the product out to as many possible people as I can? Yeah? How do I scale? How do I get, an email of one to many? How do I get the presenters to speak to many? And that's using, certain technology. So, whether it's GoToWebinar, Stealth Seminar, like there's a lot of different components I'm going to talk to you about. Number 2, the other critical component is stability. So I've got scalability and then stability of platform. You don't want to go using some, dodgy brother thing that just doesn't work and it's not happening. And do you see what I mean? That it's cheap, that it's something that you've downloaded for free, right? Like all that stuff, guys. You don't want to run a professional seminar if that's what you're using. Yeah, you need to pay for some really good technologies, because that's going to be the conduit of, a contact point between yourself and then everybody else that attends the event. Right? So it's important to choose a platform that's actually going to work really well for you, because, if things drop out halfway through, If your interview series looks pretty average, and then which leads me to the next thing that's called usability, right? If your usability is really difficult, people find it hard to log in, they can't get the product, their downloads aren't happening, all the emails are ending up in spam, right? All of these things, guys, it's really important to have a critical component of usability, yeah? Now, the next one is functionality, yeah? How functional is it? What is your stuff recorded on? Where is it housed? Do you have a YouTube channel? Is it on the website? Is there replays? Right, and I'm going to talk to you about it in some of the technologies here. Now, and the last important component is support. What support do you have? Now, in support itself, you can get other people to support that. You can use a VA. Okay, there's different ways that you can have that all set up. There's companies that actually just look after your support for you, right? There's nothing worse than getting 14,000 phone calls, right? 500 emails. Sorry, this thing's not working properly. Help me now. How will you go through it? You want to make sure that whatever the system is it's easy. Yeah? So I want you to make sure that it's easy for you to do. Now, here's some examples. Right? And these are different platforms. I've used all three of these. So GoToWebinar is excellent if a presenter is using PowerPoint. It's excellent. Why? Because it's stable. We're using it now. You can record stuff on there. The interface is really good. Yeah. So you've got a lot of good features with it. Now, the features that I don't like is sometimes when you go to convert the video, it doesn't convert properly, right? It's a bit dicey working on Mac sometimes with that. It's expensive, right? So there's two, pros and cons for all of these. Now, the next thing is Webinar Jam, right? It's new to market. It's unlimited users because it uses Google. Yeah, so it uses Google as recording, right? And what it does is automatically sets it up, records it, and you're ready to go. You can use offers in there that are just one click offers. Now, what I don't like, or what I do like, is that it uses Google. So the Google platform's obviously strong. It records the information immediately and uploads it to YouTube. There's a lot of good features, but the one thing that I don't like, and one of the reasons why I don't use it, we've used it on other telesummits before. One of the reasons why we don't use it is that there's a delay, and there's up to about a 35-second delay. Yeah. So you can imagine if I stop talking for the next 35 seconds, or I, spoke but you couldn't get me for 35 seconds, it makes it very hard for the presenter to be interactive. So there's a lot of pros, and it's super cheap. $297. I think you buy Webinar Jam, you're good to go. Now, Start Meeting, I really like. It's simple and good. There's some good options on there. Very similar to GoToWebinar. It's got its own recording. The recordings come out really super easy. You get a link. So, and I like it. It's $19. I usually use this if I've got, quick meetings that I need to hold. Now, the only bummer with this is all the links are all the same, and here's what I mean. So with GoToWebinar, as an example, you see every week you guys get a different invitation for it, and there's a different number every time that you need to sign in or whatever it may be, right? So I want you to think about, and it's something that you can't share because it just generates one number for everyone, for each number, each individual. So in saying that, right, what I like about Start Meeting is it's exactly that. One person, you're good to go, nice and easy, one link, right? It's not too hard to remember, and you don't have any, fancy software or any of that stuff that you need to install. Super, super easy. Yep. So guys, I just want you to see 3. There's about 100 on them. So you just got to see which one that you like. My personal opinion, if you're running a big summit, it's got to be GoToWebinar. My personal opinion. Yeah. So that's me. Now, there's 3 most important. So this is when you're running the summit, and here we are here. This is when you've got email, right? So Infusionsoft, these guys are the industry leader. And I think it's called Confusionsoft for a reason, yeah? Because it's bloody confusing. It's a pretty good platform, right? Once you set it up, you're good to go, right? So functionality is excellent. Usability, maybe not so excellent, right? It's reasonably dear to set up, except the platform's very, very robust, yeah? Very rarely is it down. So it's important to see which one you want to do. As an industry leader, I believe Infusionsoft is the industry leader, yeah? Now, something that's like Infusionsoft but doesn't come with the price tag is Entreport, right? It's a pretty good platform and it's reasonably affordable, yeah? And as far as I know, Charlie uses it. They've got good support, right? Good tech support. Yeah. So he said the tech support is excellent, yeah? So now, the third one you could use is Constant Contact, right? There's another one. Once again, there's 3 here. There's about 10 million of them, right? But I like these 3. Now, you could probably use something like MailChimp, but unfortunately it doesn't, the autoresponders are limited. So you want to have some type of platform that you can use. Constant Contact's got good options as well. Now, there's one that I haven't added to this, right, that you can have, right, on here, and that's called PHP List. So that's a WordPress plugin. It's called PHP List. There's a little bit of mucking around with it, but it's another option you're doing. So Charlene asks, if you're running a big summit with 30 sessions, do you need to send a link to them to sign into each and every session? Let me ask you, Charlene, is that towards a speaker or is that towards the audience? Just tell me which one, speaker or audience. So you're saying if you're running 30 sessions, is it 30 links for the speakers or is it for the audience? Yana? Oh, right, okay, cool. Charlie's just asked me a question. So Charlene said it's the audience, so I'll get to you in a sec. Charlie just said also with Infusionsoft and Entreport, what's really good about them is then they also have a pretty good affiliate structure set up as well. So in other words, you've got a speaker coming on, they want to make sure that they're tracking their affiliate links, how much they're making real time. So those 2 are really set up well with that, right? It's pretty easy to set them up and you go from there. To answer your question, Charlene, the audience, there's a few different ways that you can do it. There's an interface that you can do from Infusionsoft to GoToWebinar, and what it does is it in other words, you can just have a one-click registration where you click the events that you want to do, you do it once, and then it does everything from that. We've used that. We've used it a few times. What we found is a lot of people just start clicking for the sake of it and don't necessarily show up. A, and B, unfortunately, with the time zone differences, depending on where you're at, using GoToWebinar as an example, it doesn't have a time converter, and it'll put into your calendar, but only a US-based calendar or something like that. So those parts are pretty shitty on it, to be brutally honest, yeah? So, you've got a different way that you can go with that, yeah? So depending on what it is, they'll need to. And I'll tell you why, you want them to register for every session, because what it does is, instead of them just, ticking one box, I want to watch all of them, 99% of people don't watch any of them. So if you want to, really help them at another level, for them to help themselves, right, my personal opinion is then what you really need to do is, get them with some skin in the game. Yeah? Get them with some skin in the game by saying you register for the sessions that you want to see, and you're going to have to do that individually. I know it's a pain in the butt. However, we want to make sure that you're, part of the game. So sometimes the easier you make it, the worse it is, yeah? So does that answer your question, Charlene? By the way, I just want to check in with everybody else to make sure that this is, super important information for you. Yeah, let me just check in with everyone. Cool, Charlene says yes, thanks. Ken's interesting. I like that. I like sitting on the fence, Ken. Only joking, buddy. Lucy says, cool, thanks, yeah. Melina, let me check in with you. So once again, guys, depending on which one you use, so Melina's cool, which one you use, on budget, on affordability, on easeability, I mean, all you have to do is just compare which one works good for you. I like Infusion. I mean, even though it's Confusionsoft, we're talking to Roland DSA and a few other guys that we know that are heavy hitters here, and they've got different ideas around what to use, yeah? And that's only once you get into, I mean, they send literally millions of emails every week, so it all depends. Now, the resources, I believe, is, Instant Tele Summit as well, right? So we can help you out if you need any questions on that. And the exercise is, I think that what you need to do is research and create, a test platform, test dummy before event, and then purchase the account, right? So what we do is, a lot of these accounts here, maybe not Infusion, but maybe Entreport, Constant Contact, and then, go to, there's a 30-day free trial, Webinar Jam, I think there's a free trial, Start Meeting, there's a free trial, right? Entreport maybe, Infusion maybe. So, guys, there's different free trials that you can do, right? See, research and create test platform, that's all free trial based. So that way you can navigate to go, which one is it? And you do a little test, right? You ask 10 of your friends to be on, and you go, here we go, we're going to do a little 5-minute test of the webinar. Yep, that's cool. Everything's working. Can you hear me? Yep. It's exactly like I do when I start with you guys to make sure everyone's on the same page. Yeah. Thank you, Ken. Ken says, I appreciate your real-world experience with all these products. Thank me and thank my wallet, Ken. And some other really cool people I hang out with. So you're very welcome, sir. Right, so is everyone cool with this, guys? Before I move on, I want to take any questions that we have. If not, what I want to do is I want to roll into another presentation for us. Yeah? So let me just check in with everyone. Do you have any other questions along what we just spoke about, right? Deliverability and how we do it. Do you have any other questions? Yeah? I just want to, check in to make sure everyone's cool, and then we're good, yeah? So Charlene says, how do you deliver the recorded products? So let's say somebody's going to, that's a great question, Charlene. Let's say, as an example, somebody's going to come to your summit, right? They buy a ticket to the summit. There's two different ways. We were a part of another summit that we looked at, and we saw that what they were doing was every 48, so they do the recording. They'd offer a live package, so you could buy all the recordings of the product itself. They used Google as a platform, and what they did is they literally gave everybody the opportunity to check out all the content for 48 hours, and then they took it down. Now, and that was just a YouTube replay. However, it was housed on what looked like a lead pages page, or maybe an optimized press page, so everybody came back to them, right? So you'd get a link, you could watch it. The email said, hey, there's a replay there. You can go and check it out. It's only 48 hours. And, oh, by the way, if you want a whole series that's recorded, then you can buy it, yeah? So they did it that way. So as using Google, that would have gone straight up to YouTube. They made a private page, set the access to private. And then what they did was everybody then, if you wanted the recorded content, then you just bought a ticket, you're good to go, yeah? Now, in a lot of the cases, depending on what you're using, so as an example, if you're using GoToWebinar, it records it if you need to record it, and then it converts it, and then all you have to do is upload it to wherever you want to do. If you're using, Webinar Jam, it records it on YouTube straight away. If you're using Start Meeting as an example, what it does is once it finishes the recording, it buffers it some way, puts it onto their server, and then sends you a link to go, here's your link to your recording. So there's different ways that you can do it. What I'd like to most importantly have, if it's after the event, as you're saying after the event, and let me just read this. So do you provide a page for the recording that has all the links? Yes, you can. So it all depends. So my thing would be, I don't like 48 hours. I'd prefer 24 hours. So you say to people here, there's a 24-hour recording of it. You can check it out. And if you're using GoToWebinar, it'll just send out an automatic thing on that. You can set in the settings, when you want it sent, who you want it sent by, blah, blah, yeah. So, Charlie, I just unplugged that. So, because I'm just charging it. Yep, so you might need to plug it. Yep, right. So, guys, do you see, it all depends on what platform you're using. A lot of the platforms have got stuff built in already, yeah? If not, what you can do is, Charlene, to answer your question, so Charlene says, do you provide a page for the recordings that have all the links? Yes, you can do that, but what I'd say is it's one page, you take down the recording, because what you want to do is you don't want to give people, here's all the stuff. You want to go, if you could have made a recording, you got 24 hours to check it out, and by the way, buy a ticket, you tight ass, right? Because a lot of people are tight asses. Want to get all the shit for free, right? So you set everything on private so they can't see it any other way coming in from you. And that particular recording is, down in 24 hours. In what we did with one of the summits was every 12 hours it was taken down. So we gave a little bit, but then we said, we need you to be fair with us. Does that answer the question for everyone, guys? Have you got any other questions along those lines? Charlene, you cool with that? And Melina? Lucy asks, how long to provide the downloads? Usually that stuff's kind of done straight away. So, if you've got somebody that's going to be a part of your team, Lucy, someone like a VA or whatever, they'll just look after that without you having a hassle to be able to do that. Yep. After they purchase, really. Okay, cool. So Lucy asks, how long for the download? Pretty much immediately, because what you want to be able to do is start to put the content up. So usually, you might have a little gap of a week so you can get all the content in, do all that stuff, and then they're good to go. Yeah. So, and in some cases, you can upload the content straight away to wherever you are housing the recordings. So depending on where you're housing, then that's up to you, right? So whether it's, into a WordPress style membership area or membership site, whether you're using Kajabi, everyone write that down, Kajabi, Kajabi. And Kajabi is basically, once you've recorded all the content, it acts like a membership site. So you just upload the content to it. You can have your downloads there, MP3s there, any of that type of stuff that you want to give away. Well, sorry, not give away, be a part of the program, yeah? So then you're able to do that. So there's a lot of different platforms that you can use. What I like about something like Kajabi is it's pretty quick. If you're using Infusionsoft, you could use Customer Hub. That's what I use. But the downfall to it is you've got to keep paying the membership. That's $97 a month. And if you stop, no one can get access to your stuff. So another great way is to build it in OptimizePress or WordPress. As a WordPress site, you plug in what's called wishlist member, and that does really, really well. Yeah. Charlene, yes, I've used Kajabi for one of our summits. We used Kajabi, and now we use WordPress. So we do that with a plugin. There's another plugin that you can use to create certain membership accesses, especially if you're using Infusionsoft, called iMember 360 as well. You buy it once and then you're good to go. Or you can go wishlist. We're testing wishlist now. So basically what it does is it just makes it into a membership site. Restricted access, credit card control, all that type of stuff as well. Yeah? So is everyone cool with this, guys? I just want to check in with everyone. Very good. I like that in capitals too, Charlene. Excellent. Very good. Thank you, Lucy. Great information. Very good. Ken, Milena, you guys good? Ken, good. Awesome. Milena? Okay. So, guys, here's the next part of the presentation. So now it's delivery style, okay? Now there's going to be a little bit of a cross-promotion between these two, okay? Cross promotion, like I suppose they're cross promoting each other. And here's what I mean. So with this, do I want to go a pre-summit then a summit? And here's what I mean. A pre-summit is where you go. There's 30 minutes worth of content that nobody pays for, and that's your perfect lead magnet, right? We spoke about lead magnets. In other words, to go, hey, opt in, and I'll give you access to X amount of the pre-summit, all the pre-summit, that's up to you. And then the summit is, there's a week gap in between, which then what you're able to do is to say, hey, if you've bought a ticket now, you can watch all this other information as well. So that's something that that's one style. So this year, right, and some of the other ones that we've been working on, we've changed it around a little bit, right? What we've done is we use that style and it's worked. However, what we also do is now we're testing out a different level. So what we're doing is we're doing teasers then into the summit. So we might have 1 or 2 sessions or 3 sessions up, and then straight away you need a ticket to it. Yeah. Now, the other thing that we're looking at testing as well is all the sessions are free with a 24-hour replay. So if you come live, you're able to see them free, right? But you need to opt in or register to come and see them, and then you get the reminder for it. That's how they're doing it, Charlie. Most people. Right, so do you see? So you've opted in first, you've registered, and then you only get it tells you when that replay is, and then you can go on and have a look, but only once you've registered for that particular program itself, yeah? So guys, that's a different way. And then what you can do is after 24 hours or throughout it, what you're actually doing is looking at selling the program itself, right? So looking at going, hey, if you want to check out all the recording, check it out like this. Yeah, we've been a part of summits like that. That seems to work really well as well. The third component is limited content or complete package. So you can say, look, here's 2 or 3 recordings or 1 a week. This is my thing, but if you want to buy the whole package, you get this, you get that, and you're able to come to all the live events as well. See, so that's a different thing. Now, the other style that's super, super important is what do we do afterwards? So do we have, like a presenter follow-up with webinars? Remember I said to you guys, if you break even on the front end, but it means you've got a good list that's strong, that's fresh, right? That's completely targeted. Then the money comes on the back end. So the money comes on when you have any of those speakers that you got. By the way, it doesn't always necessarily have to be any of those speakers. It could be anyone. Because now you've got the credibility. You're a key person of influence. So you can get plenty of people now, right? That you can say, hey, or, somebody that hasn't made it to the summit, you didn't have space for them, but they're really good speaking, and say, look, how about you come in, month 1, month 2 after what we do. Hey, I want you to come in and do a 1-hour presentation and do a pitch, and, the affiliate comms is 50% to us. Do you see? So the presenter follow-up with webinars is super important, because what you want to be able to do also is announce that, to say, hey, if you really love this, we've got one of our speakers coming back, or there's a lot more other speakers that you can check out, buy this product now. Yeah? Now, and the last one is time and content. Do I want to make it that it's a long 2-hour presentation, or do I just do short, punchy 30-minute ones? Have to say, we've tested the both. I like either a 30-minute or a 90-minute. That's where we kind of do really well. 90-minute could be content and pitch. 30-minute, just pure content. Yeah? You don't want to have any pictures in. Now, here's the thing. Do I go video or do I go PowerPoint? Well, video's got great connection. Its interaction is better. And by this, I mean Google video, right? It creates trust. Better bond with the audience because you can see people. You've got their camera on. You can talk to them. Good for social media. Creates massive credibility. But PowerPoint, I think that there's better takeaways because people get to see the notes, right? There's a higher perceived value. It looks like it's something. Someone prepared that, yeah? Helps retain more information because I can see the exact things within the PowerPoint. It shows preparation, so somebody's taken the time out to prepare this PowerPoint. It's good for aesthetics, and it also helps with learning. So do you see? There's either which one. Whatever works for your tribe is critical. Now, by the way, you can have the best of both worlds. You can start off the interview with saying, hey, welcome. Welcome to the show, John Ashraf. It's going to be awesome here. You're right, there's a video talking head there. You're on video, they're on video, right? And it just gives you the ability to, kind of get the ball rolling with them being able to see stuff and just be really cool with that, right? And then you go over to you, Mr. Speaker, and what they do is they get a PowerPoint presentation and they start presenting it from there, yeah? So you can have the best of both worlds, yeah? Charlene, I've been trying to find the platform that will do both, and, it's not as easy. Now, GoToWebinar has got video integration with it, yeah? But, it's not that easy, right? So, Milena asks, how about only voice recordings that some summits are using? Look, my personal thing is, I'd rather have the video, Milena, and then what you do is you strip the MP3 off it, right, which is the audio, and now you got the best of both worlds. That's how we do it for our events, yeah? You can do it with GoToWebinar, I believe, Charlene. Yeah, so can you do this with I believe so, because there's a camera on there, and you can do the camera and then flip over. I know you can do it with Google as well, right? So Google, what's the Google thing called? Yeah. Google Hangout, yeah. So you can do it with Google Hangout, yeah? So once again, here's what I like right now. What I wanted to do was to see like in live or pre-recorded. Here's another thing. This is a personal thing. With us, we've done live and we've done pre-recorded. And to be honest, what we're looking at doing is making it pre-recorded, but it'll look like it's live, and then we can use a different technology called Stealth Seminar, right? See, you can still pre-record all the info, then have a mix of live and pre-recorded. Your summit, your choice. So with us, some of the big players will have not only pre-recorded, but we're also going to get them on live. The panel of experts, it's always good to have on live, right? But the other stuff can be all pre-recorded. Now, guys, it can make it look like it's live, and here's what I mean by that, right? So you come in and you say, hey, hi, Mr. Speaker, it's so awesome for you to be here. Really appreciate it. We're super interested and excited to, get along with this session. I know that there's a lot of questions that the audience has already. I just want to tell everybody at home to limit those questions just to, this chat box here, or if you ask them on Skype, on Facebook, it's really, really good, because then I'm going to get our speaker, if it's okay with you, Mr. Speaker, to go in and, respond to people on Facebook. I know that there's going to be a lot of questions. If you can post them on there, it helps the community and it helps everybody. One of the reasons we're doing that is to make sure that our Facebook account gets cranking, which is cool, right? So social media aspect. And number two, because people ask questions, and what we say is we make sure that the speaker will get back to you within 24 hours. That means, you see, I could have pre-recorded that stuff and nobody knows the difference. Right, guys? So there's different ways to do it. You don't want to say, you never want to put stuff that's dated. Hey, it's awesome. Today's Tuesday, the 28th of December, 2014. You don't want to be doing that, because then you can't do anything with that content and it sounds like it's old. Unless it's a significant day like, 9/11, whatever it may be, right? So do you see, guys? So it's important to say which one do you want to go with. Either which way is good for you. So Lucy asks how to get questions ahead for the pre-recordings. Yeah, so you can make up some of those questions, especially because you've researched the speaker. So what we did is we actually had, pre-made up questions that we wanted to hear from that speaker. In some cases when they were doing the presentation, I actually, paused them for a second and said, hey, let me ask you a question about this, because I feel the audience at home would want to hear this or know this, or yeah. And in some cases, what you're doing is, not in some cases, you're actually telling people that are going to come and, be a part of your webinar series and the Tele Summit series to go, hey, if you've got some questions, can you please post them prior to that so I can ask the speaker those questions? That makes sense, doesn't it? Because then when you ask the speaker those questions, then everybody benefits. And most of the questions are going to be pretty much along the same track, if you want to think of it like that, yeah? So the resources, you can check, the resources, you can check this out, yeah? So you can check out Citrix, stealthseminar.com, and then with us if you need anything else there, yeah? Now, your options are to research these options and then purchase one of these accounts, right? Now, a lot of times you can get all of these free to start with, right? Usually everything for free doesn't work too good. However, in these cases, they're really good. But they'll give you, a 30-day free trial, and then you're good to go from there. Yeah? So do you see? There's different options that you go with. There's, guys, by the way, there's no right or wrong. It's only what your preference is. Right? Both technologies are really good. Both, video and PowerPoint, no problem, right? Using pre-recorded or recorded, that's up to you. It seems like a lot of them are going recorded. And what I like is if you do the presentation, especially where it's screen captured like these are, and then videoed, right, as a part of the, the talking head up in the corner or something like that, then, guys, the best part about it is all you have to do is strip the MP3 off, right? The MP3 component off it, and guess what? Now you've got MP3 and you've got video as well. So, do you see? You get the best of both worlds, because if you just record it in audio, then it's pretty average, yeah? Or it's hard to see any more value. I mean, what's better, audio or video? Video, obviously. Have you got any questions on that, guys? I know I've gone a little bit over time, but it's important that I answer these. Ken's cool. Lucy, Milena, Charlene. Charlene's good. You guys are so clever. It's awesome. Lucy, awesome. Milena's good. Okay. So, guys, I just want an indicator, and, I'd like to have a conversation sort of offline with you guys, because everybody's got individual needs and stuff. So I just wanted to get an indicator of how many of you would be interested in, furthering the training, getting this organized, and then sort of taking your event live, and you're really getting everything together, whether it's a website, any of that stuff that we can build for you. I just want to just sort of check in with everybody, whether you're interested, you're not interested, but just give me a really good understanding. So Milena also asked, she's got more questions probably as I go along with this process. Okay, cool. So that's cool. Okay, so Milena, obviously you're interested, which is cool. Charlene says, yep, possibly later, which is cool. Ken, you'd like to look at some options. Awesome. And yeah, so I just want to check in with Lucy just to see where you're at with that, whether you'd be interested in, further the training. By the way, Charlene, when are you looking at launching your presentation? Okay, cool. So you've got the dates. Fantastic. So maybe around September, October might be really good for us to get cracking with that as well. Yeah, cool. Awesome. So, guys, what I'll do is I'll reach out to everybody individually. Let's have a Skype for 30 minutes or a phone chat, and see how I can serve you the best. What works for both of us is really good. Now, guys, I'd like to ask a little favor before I go. Everything in our business, regardless of what it is all testimonial based, yeah? So I'm wondering if you guys could do me a little favor with this, and you could just do it on your cell phone, nice and quick and easy. I'm wondering, guys, if you could record a little 1-minute video testimonial for me, just being truthful and open and honest, and say, what great value you've got out of this, whether you could recommend this to somebody else, and, how I was as a teacher for you guys, and how you found the content, and just how you found the journey with me. It's important to understand that, I want to make sure that you guys got a lot of value out of it, and you've learnt not only for this platform, but also you've learnt a lot of things along the way for your business. So I'm wondering if that's okay, guys. I just want to check in with you. Thank you, Ken. Video testimony, no problem. Thank you, Ken. I appreciate it. So I just want to check in with everyone if it's okay. Thank you, Melina. Absolutely, which is awesome. Charlene, thank you. Will do, man. So you guys are superstars. I love you, and it's awesome for doing that. I super appreciate it. And now, guys, here's what it is. Okay, our formal component is come to an end, but I want you to know that I'm here to help you. I'm hoping that you've got that from everything that we've done throughout our time together. I'm hoping that you know that I'm here to serve and help you do as much as you can. I know I speak with a lot of you guys, through email and some in direct call or whether it's a Skype. And I'm hoping that you know that I'm here to serve you. So whatever I can do to help you and shed some time. Look, I've always got 20 minutes, 30 minutes that I can talk to you about, do whatever I need. The question before around continuing our training, obviously that's more a formal agreement for us to get super focused and get you launched and get moving, because as we know, we've got teams, and I'm going to have everybody, I'll speak to you guys individually about that, see what I can bring to the table and everything with that. So guys, I'm going to leave just with an indicator on a scale of 1 to 10. Let's go with 10 this time. On a scale of 1 to 10, how great you found this program, and your level of happiness tells me on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being really, really awesome, and 1 being, I'm about to punch me through the screen, but I'm figuring that there's none of that, by the way. So 10, Ken, thank you, mate. I appreciate it. So I just want to check in. Yeah, Charlene, 7, awesome. Great. 10, Lucy, awesome. Milena, very good. And I bet you, Charlene, you're one of those people that never gives a 10. Is that right? I'm only joking, by the way. She's like, there's no chance there's a 10, right? Are you one of those people? I got a friend of mine that he's never a 10. Even if it's a 12, he's like, no, it's got to be a 6 or a 7. That's how he does it.